it is a hobby, and I haven't really figured out what I'm doing with it. But it's some consistency, so it's a thing I do. These are lovely. So
The kinetics. They are Ayatan sculptures. You find them randomly tucked away in corners in missions, and Ayatan stars are inserted in to power them up. And you can either trade them into an NPC for Endo, or you can do what I do and use them as decorations.
that feels like the right thing to do. It's very festive in here.
Well,
you got any
why not?
lights up in the flat or anything? Are you
No.
still you're still in the same flat though, aren't you?
Yes.
I can't actually imagine you moving from there really. That's not a judgment. It's just somehow hard to imagine you anywhere else at this point.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a tour of my orbiter.
So, if I were to start a mission now, I've just
Well, you need to head back to your own orbiter to leave this one first.
I've just realised that I'm not actually streaming the game currently. Go. Got to tell it to grab the right window.
So it was just disembodied voices then.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, if you ever bother to look back through my Facebook ones, you'll see that quite a lot of them have comments like you're not showing the game, Graham, or we can't hear you, and pretty much all of that comes in with me going, yep, I need a producer. I need a producer.
Fair enough.
If I don't have a producer, those sort of things will happen all the time, but that's how it is. So if I would start a mission now and you come with me, you're going to just slaughter through, look at them hard and they all die, or does it do anything?
If I wanted to, but that would be kind of boring for you, so I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But it doesn't do anything like modulating the levels or making them slightly harder, or...
It does nothing to the level and toughness of mobs. It will add a few more of them in, though. It won't double it, but it will add a few more in, and it scales up to a squad size of 4. So the game was designed for a squad of 4. Not everything is done in a squad of 4. Quests in particular, some of them can be done solo only. But generally speaking, things have been balanced for a squad of 4 people. But not necessarily a squad of really, really good 4 people, which is why you can learn to solo pretty much anything.
So that's so far so standard in terms of sort of how gameplay works. But yeah, I think in anything you can normally... I'm aware of very few games that will say you will have to have a squad. Like everything can be soloed one way or another.
Well, MMOs that enforce grouping for things like dungeons and raids, but
this is true.
This game is not quite like that.
No. Oh, cool. Right. So do I have to go back to my own orbiter, which I will do now. Thank you for the invite. That's a very lovely orbiter you have there.
Okay, I will send you a new team invite.
Does it de-team us?
It does, because you've left an instance which I'm hosting.
Right.
It's a bit complicated. It happens whenever you leave an instance that is being hosted not by you. So this, if you go to a relay, if you go there in a squad, the relay starts to host. So when you leave it, you leave squad. Essentially, it's the... half the time my response will be, I'll sort of trail off on a very long-winded explanation, go, look, just because DE.
Yeah. It made sense at the time. And I accept that.
Yes, now we're back in squads, and I'm hosting. Which is fine, because my computer's ridiculous and my internet's stable, so...
Oh. We're both in that happy circumstance. Yate is a small town north of Bristol. It is not quite as large. Very few places have the feel of Cambridge, but it has that smallish town feel that you get most places. So, like near where I grew up, Wellingarden City, it's about the size of that. It has supermarkets and whatnot. It's quite different from Stroud when I was last staying in the West Country.
Operator, were you visualizing a bloody battle? Me too.
Sorry, the computer's talking to me. And it has the benefits of being a satellite town of Bristol. So it has very good broadband. It's the overspill. Bristol is expensive to live in, and it's a similar sort of setup to London. It's a large, sprawling city, and we're on the outer edge, not quite Bristol, but kinda. So we're in the getting out past Clapton Junction kind of idea. Right, I am attempting to select navigation. That's not working. Why is that not working?
Perhaps you're a bit far or a bit close?
Oh, the prompt's coming up. I've hit the... Right, I need to check something on my bindings, because this has its own individual binding, own individual gamepad setup. So we are locked
you'll
in.
check your interact key, I assume?
Yes, I will
Yeah.
do that, but I find it useful to do that first. It does not have its own one, and that's why things are being strange. So it's got a profile in my gamepad software, Logitech software, but that is something that Logitech have written, as opposed to using my standard gaming profile, which I'm just going to check the... That now makes sense. Yeah, that now makes sense. Yeah. I also go off in long-winded explanations, and quite often they end in because Logitech. So, what I am looking at here is the navigation map, and there is a filled-in diamond over Satus and one over Lith.
Okay, so the filled-in diamonds are nodes that you have completed a mission on and therefore unlocked. The beeping ones that are beeping and flashing turquoise are the next ones you can access yourself. The ones that are not, there's a dotted line and they're empty, or there's a tiny padlock or something, you just haven't unlocked those. It's possible for other people like me to taxi you to those nodes, which is a way of unlocking them. But largely I prefer to let people just go and unlock them in the order they want to. Although if something time-limited, like a time-limited alert pops up, whereby, hey, go do a mission on this particular node, and in the next 24 hours you get a really nice prize, then I'll quite happily take people.
So, I've got the Mercury quest. My next objective is Mercury Junction.
Okay.
So, E-gates.
Mercury Junction? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I did play a fair bit.
So you've worked your way through Venus, then?
Well, no. Yeah, so that's the gate to Mercury from Venus. So I'm at Venus, I think.
Yeah.
There are various events. Operation Orphix Venom. I think you mentioned to me, don't worry about those right now.
No, that's way above your pay grade.
So the two things that it's suggesting, well, three things. Cetus, which just gives me a time of day, night in 9 minutes. Lith, which gives me defense, Grenier 1 to 6, open squads 5.
Oh, you're set on public. Well, as I'm squad leader, it shouldn't, because I'm friends only. I never play with pugs.
I should do that. I should do that because yeah, when I will find out how to do that later, because it matters now. Go back to navigation, which I can do that way. So Cetus, I don't know if that's actually a mission. That looks like a hub of some description.
It is a hub, yes.
Lith, which looks like a mission, and E-Gate, which is a mission, exterminate.
The first on Venus. Okay, right. Okay, so Cetus is a hub area, and I don't think you need to worry about that immediately. So the star chart progression starts off a little bit backwards. You start off on Earth, and then you are expected to complete Venus and then Mercury, and then back to Earth and move on to Mars that way. So Cetus is sort of the gateway for that, really. I wouldn't worry about doing Cetus now. go in the other direction, and
Yeah.
then when you finished your nodes on Venus, your nodes on Mercury, because you will pick up a couple of extra quests and bits
Yeah.
and pieces, then come back to Earth to do Cetus, the Plains of Eidolon, Eurasia, Mars Junction, and onwards.
So are those the sort of open worldy bits that?
Plains of Eidolon is an open world, yes.
Yeah. So the nearest diamond is Lith. So shall we do that just to get it out of the way?
Absolutely. Defense missions. So, defense missions, they are defending a target, usually a stationary pod of some description, somewhere near the middle of the map, against waves of enemies. The further waves you do, the higher the level and the more of them you have to kill. Every 5 waves, you're given the choice whether to extract with whatever you've got, or stay for another 5 waves. If at any point the pod dies, you lose. Mission failed. Go home, empty pockets.
And with your badass self with me, I should be able to stay a bit longer than I would otherwise.
Yes, but I'm not going to kill everything because that's boring for you. What
Right.
I will do is give you a safety halo of fire. There you go.
Oh, that's
What
lovely.
that halo does, if you look down now, you can see you've got a buff with a number on it. That's the amount of incoming damage that the halo will absorb. It will knock that off 90% of incoming damage. So you will still take a small amount of incoming damage, but it will absorb that much, and then when it dies, it goes pop, which stuns everything around you for a couple of seconds. Anyway.
Oh, lovely. So
What are you doing running on the ground like a pleb? You're a ninja. Ninjas don't run on the
What, you
ground.
mean like that?
My word.
So one of the things I did know sort of early from the game, before I started playing the game, from watching the documentary, was that the the gun jump or the bullet jump was the result was the result of a bug that they didn't want to take out of the game.
So you need to be aware of the objective we're defending, this pod in the middle.
Yep.
If anything gets too close, that ain't good. But I'm mostly just sitting here.
Yeah, I imagine you're just like nailing. I'm just running around the outer rim because I assume with you stood next to the pod, not much is getting near them.
Yeah, if anything starts molesting the pod, I'm chopping it in half. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just nuke the map before you saw everything. But how much fun would that be for you? Not a great deal, I should imagine.
No, if you just hold the pod, I'll enjoy practicing my various smack thing moves. I'm a total exemplar of skill and grace here, obviously.
You saw the mashable 100 Days of Warframe. Everybody is that Excalibur when they start.
I did not watch it in the end, but it is on my list.
It's like 3 minutes long.
And I still didn't watch it.
Oh my word! It's the best description of a player's first 100 days in this game ever.
It's not vastly challenging at the outset, so all of the special moves it tells you about I then forget to use.
Well, that is kind of the newbie stuff, how it works. I'm also letting my dog just run around and chew shit up. Well, I say dog. It's an abominable horror, but, you know, he's a very good boy.
One of my favourite bits of the NoClip documentary was when the presenter kind of called out the fact that everything has a kind of slightly interesting name.
Yeah, DE naming schema. You'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, apparently it's because they let the devs just like name their own objects and stuff. So, or at least that's how it started. So yeah, it's not a cat, it's a cravat, of course. And like their community manager is going, no, of course it's got to be that way. And you're like, of course, yeah, I get it. You're into this. I've managed to go and thing I like most at the moment is this sort of sliding, whirly, take them off at their knees thing.
Yep, slide attack, super powerful melee move. Assuming you're using a melee weapon which has enough range to make it worthwhile. If you're using a dagger, not really worthwhile.
How I like to use it is to get inverted commas stealth kills by swinging past someone and basically bisecting them at the knees as you go by.
Good fun.
It's the closest I get to panache in this. Most of the time I'm not even entirely clear which direction I'm facing in.
That's fine. You get used to it. At the moment I'm just very lazily kind of hanging around. I'm not really doing it.
I have a distinct feel that once he's got himself orientated, Richard will love this. We tried very hard to play a Warhammer 40k Space Marine game that has a defense mode in it, but it did no scaling. So if you were 2 people, it was sending 4 Marines worth of enemies in, and we died a lot. But it has a similar feel to this.
That's a bit of a shame.
I found a new move, which is absolutely useless for what I'm trying to do. It's just a sliding strong attack.
Anyway, that was the end of wave 5, so now we have a choice. Stick around or bugger off.
I'll stick around for a little bit, that's fun.
Of the enemy.
Okay, click the battle side then.
Continue to defend.
It will automatically assume you want to stay, by the way. So the default, if you don't select stay or leave, it will keep you in there. Just be aware of that.
Well, that's cool.
Not very cool if you space out or you think you clicked it but you hadn't, or you had to go AFK and suddenly you find wave 6 loading up and you can't leave until wave 10.
Fair point.
Or, well, you don't want to, because if you try, you're aborting the mission. Anyway, I'm Nezha, the Lotus Prince of Fire. I might as well get a bit fiery up on this. This is friendly fire.
Oh, that will hurt.
No, it's literally friendly. It will hurt the enemy, but if you have a horrible status prop running on you, like you're on fire, or you're really slowed by ice, or you've got a slash proc on you, it will remove it, cleanse it.
Cleansing fire. Lovely.
Yes, if you want offensive fire, then that's Ember's job. Or Chroma. Or Wisp. There's a lot of frames. I mean, ultimately, this game is a giant collect-em-up. You will want to collect and master every weapon, every frame, every companion, and every other thing I'm not going to specify at this point. Because that's what grants you mastery. That's how you get to mastery rank 30, which is where I am, which is the top in the game. It's a slow process. I mean, it is basically the game.
Hey, it saved the company.
Yeah?
Can't fault it.
I'm just letting my fire take care of stuff now. This is about the only time I've run on the ground like a pleb, when I'm using fire on the ground.
I decided that the most effective way of doing this is just to run around this perimeter in circles.
Yeah. Well, it may not surprise you to know, we have lots of strats for these things. So I quite like defense missions because they're excellent XP farms, affinity farms. And in certain locations, the rotation rewards are good, or the resources the planet drops, that sort of thing. And we have ways of making them really quick and really efficient.
You don't surprise me at all. I'm naturally throwing myself off the side.
Well, it's good because it forces you to bullet jump in an instant to get back up. Also, as well as mastering bullet jump, I strongly advise mastering rolling. Get rolling down pat in your parkour movement. It's so useful. Whilst the rolling is executing, incoming damage is reduced by 75% from all sources.
Lovely.
It also is a very fast way of moving.
And rolling is done.
I don't know what the default key is. I've rebound all of my keys, I'm afraid.
I will check it out then.
There is a combined roll sprint key, which the game will try and figure out which of the two you want to do. I do not understand how anyone can use this. I have separate sprint. I have toggle sprint because why would you ever not want to be sprinting? And a roll as its own completely distinct.
I have discovered roll and it works for me. My sprint key is under my thumb on my mouse. So double tapping that is very, very easy.
Anyway, we should probably leave it then. Because if we did really want to settle in and do a long defense, then I would actually bring a different loadout to do it much more quickly.
This is just getting a sense for it, so we can bug out after this wave. Happy to go on to the next thing.
Yep, see what the next beeping nodes are that you want to pick up.
I think the next one is eliminate.
Oh, good old, simple exterminate. Yep.
Yeah, kill everything that's there.
Yeah, I can't go wrong really. Well, I suppose we might run out of room.
Oh yes, I remember that the big shiny blade, you need to turn it off.
Exalted Blade, yes, because it's a channeled ability, and what that means is there's a cost to turn it on, and then whilst it runs, it will continuously drain your energy. But because there is a cost to turn it on, you kind of need to weigh up, you know, is it worth turning it off for 5 seconds? But if it's going to be, say, a minute, is it worth leaving it on and having the energy draining for that long? There are mods for Warframes which improve it. To be brutally honest, the vast majority of your power in this game comes from the mods you install on your frame and your weapons and your companions and so forth. What mods they are and how upgraded they are, that kind of thing.
Cool.
So, my number one, I suppose, piece of advice when it comes to people for modding is get mods on your stuff. I mean, you're at such an early stage in the game that exactly what mods, probably less relevant than just getting mods of any kind on.
Yeah, so there's an auto-equip key, so I'm using that.
Oh dear. Alright, so to be fair, the auto mod isn't as disastrous as it used to be way back in the day. It used to be appallingly bad because it was based on a rating system for the PvP mode, the Conclave. However, mods between the PvP Conclave mode and the PvM mode, everything else, were not cross-compatible. But it kind of assigned what it thought the score should be. The TLDR is, it would not randomly, it would knowingly equip complete shit on you and basically hamper you. They have since removed its coupling with the Conclave score, and it is now slightly better than it used to be, but it's still really, really poor. It will prioritize bizarre stuff.
Fair enough, I will look hard at it.
Hold up. Detecting glass resonance. It's
Glass
close.
incoming.
What does that mean?
So, we're about to be invaded. Do you hear that cracking, thundering noise? That's the glass fissure. It's just
There's
turned a
less
bunch
than
of mobs
nothing
into
left
living
of
glass.
Who they once were.
The living glass is remarkably tough. What you need to do is look for small outcrops of actual glass crystals on them and shoot those off. At that point they become vulnerable to damage. Or just do a single heavy slam melee
You
attack
gotta
on their
find
head.
out what's
That'll one-shot.
protecting them, and then take your shot.
Nora Knight is letting you know. It's part of the Nightwave glass maker, which is going to turn
I
on
gather
the
that, yeah. As the announcer turned up.
Oh yeah, when you smash them and you start hearing them winding up ready to explode, they explode. Don't stand next to them.
Oh, I've got some glass maker standing.
Yes. You get about 30 every time you kill one. Or, correction, every time one dies. So it doesn't matter who in squad killed it, as long as someone did, then you get some.
Reinforcements available.
Okay, we should bugger off.
Do you choose
So
to
we got a
leave
Lith
now
Relic
or
and a
continue
really
fighting?
rubbish mod. The Lith Relic is nice, hold on to that.
Well.
Relics
Looks
are
like
where
some
prime
serious
gear
crud
comes
is going
from,
down
so
out
you'll
there.
want to hold on to that.
Here's to you. And
Nice.
As for mods, we got some really useful mods. So Vitality, that is the single most important mod you should have on your Warframe right now, as high as possible. That is your hit points, that's your health. So Vitality, really useful. Pressure Point, that is the single most important mod you should have on your melee weapon right now. That adds to its base damage. Northwind is also extremely good. It adds the cold elements onto your melee weapon. Try and equip that.
Trick mag doesn't seem...
As
more
I said,
ammo.
rubbish. Complete crap. Forget it exists.
Okay.
I mean, alright, if you have literally
Oh, I've got
nothing else, but...
Cephalite resonance, so I can go back to that thing and go and have a look inside that guy's head.
Oh, the answering questions.
Yeah.
You need to remember what your specific clues were, because it's randomized for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody will have one of 3 clues, and it will be in random locations. So to answer the questions, you need to remember exactly which variation you had. And you have a very tight time limit, which is frustrating, because I actually wanted to pay attention to the dialogue.
Yeah, me too. So, what actually is useful there is that I have recorded the session that I did.
Yes, so you can go back and read the lore. Good plan.
So I might do that a little later. Okay, so here I am back on the ship, and based on what you said, first of all, I am going to go to my arsenal, but then I am going to put the kettle
Orpheus
on.
is half
And we
angry.
can talk
Grand
more a little
idea.
I may require maintenance after all.
bit. I like Coca-Cola very much, but I prefer tea. I have become a tea addict in a way that I wasn't before, and I was a bit of a tea addict before.
Oh, I have 2 cups a day. Very occasionally, one might be a coffee.
Yeah, 2 cups of coffee in the morning. Possibly 3 if I'm having a particularly not really waking up bit. In the early days, as it were, it wouldn't be uncommon for me to go through about 6 or 7 cups of coffee in a day. So I switched that out to tea. Previously, I tried using decaf, but decaf isn't really decaf. There's just less caff. So, and back then I was wondering why I was having trouble sleeping.
Gee, can't think. Mind you, I'm a bit sensitive to caffeine, so I can't really consume that much. Otherwise, I will not sleep for a week. Which is why 2 cups of tea is my limit, and the second one is afternoon, and then, I can have like a Coke if I'm having a meal or something, but otherwise, no.
Moderation and everything. Apart from playing Warframe and Cyberpunk, clearly. Right, so while that's brewing, all of my computer kit is in a conservatory, which is quite nice. And I stepped from the conservatory into my what's like a little, very small dining-ish area next to the kitchen, which is now where my VR gear is sitting. And then the kitchen's to the left and the living room. It's a nice compact little house. Right, so let's have a look at the Excalibur. What have I got on there? I do have Vitality.
Good.
Already in there. So that's a 30%, and this is a 40%. So presumably.
Well, is it a damaged Vitality?
That's flawed.
Or flawed?
Yes,
okay,
flawed.
right. I couldn't remember. It was called damaged. They renamed it to flawed. Right. So any mods with the word flawed in, those are starter level, deliberately hobbled, deliberately nerfed newbie Mark 1, grey type common crap. So as soon as you get a real grown-up mod, that'll be one that doesn't have the word flawed in it. You will want to replace it with that. The flip side is the flawed ones are cheap to upgrade in terms of endo, and they don't take much of your capacity.
Right. So I have replaced Vitality. You can, in fact, I'll ping you over. You can actually see my screen quite easily. I shall ping.
Oh, that's right. I can look at your stream.
You can look at it, rather than me trying to describe it, and this could be a frustrating process. So. That is on Facebook, but there's a Twitch link, which is probably nicer. It shouldn't be hard for me to find, but funnily enough,
it's fine.
I've got it.
Okay, you can actually see the visual effect of what looks like a shattered effect. On it, so that's an easy visual way of looking. So you have a proper grown-up Vitality, a proper grown-up redirection, and then you have baby other bits and pieces. Okay, that's fine for now, and that's all you really have. That's fine then. Yeah. So, I see none of them have actually been ranked up, so they're only giving you very tiny basic buffs.
That's right.
To rank them up requires the resource endo.
Yeah, and I
which
have some.
We pick up. Yeah. So what I would recommend is rank up Vitality first. So with each dot, it gets a lot more expensive endo-wise. So, for a little bit of endo, will give you a couple of dots of Vitality. That's easy enough. But to get beyond that, it starts costing more and more endo. So at that point, you may want to consider adding it to some of the other mods. But anyway.
Yeah, what you're seeing on here is basically me going into actions and doing auto install.
Okay, I can see what it's. First of all, you have very little in the way of options. You have a lot of flawed mods, as opposed to kind of real mods, and that's fair enough. So let's see what we have here. Serration, you definitely want. Yeah, Hellfire Stormbringer. The Bane mods are not very useful. This starts getting into the mathematics of the game, and that gets hugely complicated because the numbers that you see are not what's going on behind the scenes, because some of these are multiplicative, some of these are additive, some of these are work on base damage of one type, some of these work on collective damage of all types, and they would be pointless me spending an hour explaining it all.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you kind of the shortcut here. So okay, now on what I can see is you're looking at the kunai. So you have your flawed hornet strike. Convulsion is nice. Heated charge. Oh, that one's got a bit of endo in it. Excellent. You probably want the heated charge on. Drop the quick draw and the convulsion and get the heated charge on, because that'll help more.
And there's a polarity thing which I've not really looked at.
So matching polarities halve rounded up the drain cost. A wrong polarity doubles rounded up. Well, it doesn't double. It adds a proportion. I've forgotten the proportion. It scales.
So if I were to unlock this bit, I could drop this one in there, and it would benefit me by not taking up so much.
What do you mean
capacity.
unlock?
So on the right there, that one's locked.
Oh yeah. Ignore the locked one on the end. Forget it. That's a special kind of slot in Exilus. You see, it's got a funny symbol under it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to put heated charge in it anyway, because heated charge
Right.
doesn't match the symbol. No, do not purchase.
That okay? I'm not doing it. Right.
So yeah.
Hands are away from the keyboard.
Forget that locked slot exists, quite frankly. It's not that useful anyway, even at endgame, to be brutally honest with you,
So that's-
especially on
that-
secondaries.
That's a grown-up one. And
Okay, and again, alright, you have a real grown-up pressure point now. In fact, you have two. I would put the real grown-up pressure point on. And I would try and put a bit of endo into that as well.
into
So-
true steel or into pressure
No,
point?
into pressure point. Into the real one. So, putting some endo into the flawed ones, well, it's okay for now. But if you have the proper versions of the mods, then it's well worth focusing on those, at least until the endo cost starts getting kind of crazy. At that point, it's worth then investing into other lower ones.
So here's a question. You've got Northwind, which is 15 cold, versus Shocking Touch, which is flawed, but 15% electricity. So, in raw numbers, and I know I heard what you said a minute ago, that's 15% electricity versus 15% cold.
Yes.
There doesn't seem to be much in it.
Indeed.
They cost the same,
Mhm.
except that this one is my real grown-up one, and this one will cost less to level up.
The real grown-up one, if you look at the bottom of each mod, you see a number of dots.
Yeah.
And that shows you how high it can be upgraded. And when the dots are lit, that means you put endo in. You will see that the flawed one caps at 3,
Yeah.
but the grown-up ones don't. They go further.
Yeah.
This is why, if you end up spending a lot of endo maxing out a flawed mod, there's only so far it can go. It's no good. You
Right.
want to level up the full-sized mod, so it will eventually max out.
Got you.
I mean, the game is giving you some really good flawed versions of mods right now, and that's really, really useful. It is showing you what stats are important, as opposed to aren't really. But, again, you have the starter trial version. That top slot on melee weapons is for a stance. Each melee weapon class has its own set of stances. And what that does, similar to the aura slot on the Warframe, is it adds extra capacity and unlocks series of moves you can perform that do different things. More damage, but maybe they hit a wider range. Maybe they hit multiple targets. Maybe they bleed procs, that sort of thing.
Cool.
So that's something to look out for, stance mods.
Excellent. Cool. The stream will lag obviously a few seconds behind.
Yes.
So, I will understand if you're going, no, don't do that, but it probably already happened.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, once again, looking at this, Northwind, I've got loads of space in my Exalted Blade.
Yes. Oh, that's super interesting. You appear to have double capacity on your Exalted Blade. That's interesting. Did you install an Orokin reactor onto your Excalibur?
I have no idea!
Okay, let's have a look. Drop out and go back into your Excalibur.
I have no idea.
Okay, let's have a look. Drop out and go back into your Excalibur. Okay, let's have a look. Drop out and go back into your Excalibur. Okay, let's have a look. Drop out and go back into your Excalibur. Okay, let's have a look. Drop out and go back into your Excalibur.
Upgrade?
Well, from the Exalted Blade menu back. There we go. So your Excalibur, yeah, upgrade. And then under actions. And under actions, where the auto install button is, next to that there's one for Orokin Reactor. And it's what does it say? Because I can't see on the stream yet.
It will get there. 0 of 1.
Okay, you do not have a reactor installed. Okay, that's interesting. Fair enough then. I guess maybe your newbie starter Excalibur has some extra Exalted Blade capacity, which is fine.
Operator, you
I mean,
have
it's
remembered
great.
well
Take
how
advantage
the
of
Tenno
it.
arm themselves.
So, Orokin reactors and their equivalent catalysts for weapons double the capacity for the mods.
Yeah. It's not glowing or anything, it just appears to have 48.
No, that's fine. That's good. That's good. Because it's acting as if it has a reactor or catalyst installed.
We're not going to argue with this, are we?
No. By the way, if I say potato, I'm talking about a reactor or catalyst.
That makes sense. It looks like one.
It's just, yeah. And we're all used to calling them potatoes, so.
Cool. Right, so my tea should be ready. Just a second. I like it strong. And then I guess maybe the next thing to do is look at what endo I've got and what would be sensible to do with that. Because I think that's an area I looked at it and went, this is going to require more thought than I've got capacity for this evening. When I last looked at it. So, and at that time I was just, I was trying to do missions, inverted quotes, stealthily, but ultimately just reducing the total amount of ultraviolence I was going to commit. And either way, I was just mowing straight through them. At no point did I really feel particularly challenged by anything I was encountering. I wasn't too worried about upgrading things at that point.
Well, that's the early parts of the game. The mobs you encounter are pretty low level. It's mostly to show you a bit of the breadth of the mob types, so that you start to learn what each of them can do, without being in too much mortal peril. Because how much fun would it be if in your second mission everything wipes the floor with you constantly, instantly?
I think that's fair to say. So, I'm opening the mod screen. These various things that appear.
So I'm just switching between Twitch and Facebook streaming to see which one might possibly be on time.
In my opinion, Twitch definitely.
Alright.
I had terrible trouble getting Facebook to actually render ultra wide in a viewable format for people. And then once I did that, like the API was down for a chunk of today.
Well, so ironically, the easiest way to do this would be through the arsenal, because you're not kind of blinded by the whole load of mods disconnected from the items they're being slotted into. So what I would actually recommend is doing this from inside the arsenal screen, because there's a mod button for each item. So in the arsenal for your Warframe, you click the mod button, and it will take you into the modding menu just for the mods you have on your frame.
Aha!
It will only show you what you have on the frame currently equipped, but, I mean, that's useful.
Right, so if we were to look at there, and then do this, I'll let you catch up.
Yep, and mods, yep. Okay, so now you see it's only showing you what you currently have installed, which is easier for us to kind of work with visually here. The downside is we can't see how much capacity it has and is using and so forth. Anyway, if you look up in the top left, just above where it says Ayatan Treasures, it says you only have 120 endo. That's not a great deal, so you're probably not going to be able to upgrade very much.
Okay.
My primary suggestion would be vitality. Your real major big vitality. Not redirection, vitality. So shields in this game are... they're either extremely useful or completely useless. Whereas HP, vitality, is always useful.
Yeah, I noticed that you've actually got less shields than I have. But
I don't bother with a redirection on any frame that is not a shield tanker. So, for shield tank frames, then shields are amazing. For non-shield tank frames, they're a giant waste of space.
Fair enough.
There's a bit more complexity to it than that, but there's no need to spend an hour describing that. So, vitality. That's your base hit points, that's your base not dying. You will, at this point, want to put a vitality on every frame and every build. So it's always worth ranking up a vitality mod as high as you can, and as long as it can still fit. So, okay, the rank 1's only costing you 10 endo, the rank 2... Okay, so you can't quite max rank 4, but you can get to rank 3. That's fine.
Shall we do that?
Yeah, do that.
Ah. And then we get rid of something.
Yes. It will force the mod off because you don't have capacity for it at this point, but that's fine. Do it, because then we'll unplug a less useful mod to give it the space.
Back in. So we go back.
Yep.
We go back out of this mod screen.
Yep. If you just click back,
Yep.
and then exit, and it should take you back to where you were in the arsenal. Here we go. You see, it's dropped it off. Right. Drop Thief's Wit. Yeah, drop Thief's Wit for now.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's particularly useful.
I have exactly one config on one frame for one very, very niche thing which uses it. And then there you go, your vitality, and that'll have given you, you've gone from 260 to 380 base hit points. Which is nice.
Nice, so I think that concludes the modification portion of this educational engagement, and we probably should go and hit things again.
Absolutely. We are still in squad, as you'll notice, because we didn't go through a hub. So, takes your picks.
Right. So our next flashy diamond is here.
E-gates. Alright, this is a straight linear exterminate on Venus. I will change frames, because why not? Ooh, I'll bring my Excalibur. Anyway, gears up.
Let's go.
Ah, you force-started it, which is fair enough. Ah, now you've left squad. What are you doing?
I hit X when you said,
That
"Oh, you
causes you
force-started
to-
it." I thought that might cause you to drop out. Oh, my apologies.
No, that's fair enough. By the way, if you see up in the top left, yeah, when you accept. So immediately up in the top left, okay. When you are not in squad with anyone else, or when you are the leader of squad, there will be a little symbol next to your little avatar that will show you your team setting. Just click on it and pick a different one. So you had the globe, which is for public. So next time you're on your own in squad, just click that and set it to friends only.
Right. I do this, and then
I've accepted. There we go.
now. In the previous mission, I would sneak around and try and stealthily take people out. That feels like the wrong approach now, because we can probably just go in and mash them. Yep.
Eliminate all corpus threats.
Oh, I was here just the other day.
Quite. Were you helping out Darvo by any chance?
I was.
He's always getting himself in trouble, silly boy. But he's useful, he has his uses. Anyway.
So, last time I came here, there was a whole bunch of them just wandering out there, but they appear to be over here.
Oh yeah, so the mission tile sets will always auto-generate a new layout every time, which is nice. I'm just gonna hose shit down with flamethrower because
Why not?
Hold up.
Oh, more
Detecting
glassy
glass
boys.
resonance. It's close. There's less than nothing left of who they once were.
So this is going to happen a lot.
You gotta find out what's protecting them, and then take
yes,
your
because
shot.
we are right at the end of the event. It's sort of a crescendo. So
Very easy to end up facing the wrong direction.
you get used to it. Have you got the hang of the aim glide?
No.
Okay, while you're in the air, aim. Aim down sights.
Oh no, I know how to do it.
Okay, it's basically slow falling,
Yeah.
which allows you to fly quite a distance.
I got the hang of it when I was doing my like grading mission.
Yes, your mastery
Yeah.
challenge. I see you are mastery 1 or 2.
But in general, no, I don't. I don't actually use range weapons very much.
Oh, don't worry. At the start of the game, almost everyone is just a melee devotee, because melee is just cool and easy and fun and stuff. And then later on, you start to appreciate the ranged weapons. And then even later on, you go back to melee.
Didn't even look for lockers in the last. Oh no, it's defense, so that's.
There was lockers hiding around in the spawn points, sort of under and around the sides, but yeah, at this stage in the game, you absolutely want to bust open every crate, open every locker, investigate every room, kill every mob, because resources, 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 resources.
Yep.
Oh, dropship. They shoot at you and they come in. You can shoot the turrets out though, which is handy because they do quite a lot of damage. You can't sadly destroy the dropships.
So there was a thing that I was fairly proud of realizing I could do here.
Zipwire?
That's the one.
Yep. Zipwire's pretty handy. They're sneakily dotted around all over the place, and Warframe can even make any zipwire she wants. I don't bother with that stuff, I just fly.
Of course you do.
But yes, loot. And possibly nice things hidden away. The game does reward exploring. You might find Itan statues, you might find rare crates that have like short boosters in them, or components for landing craft, that kind of thing. And if you're falling from a great height, either roll or slide just before you land to keep going without any sort of disadvantage. Otherwise, you do a hard, heavy landing and have to get back to your feet. And
You do, yeah.
later in the game, that's basically a death sentence. Hey, blue eye 10 star.
Something you actually have to physically pick up.
Yes. Like a peasant.
Yeah.
The little red enemy marker, which you see in Exterminate, is showing you the nearest enemy to kill.
Aha!
Or showing you the way to the nearest enemy to kill. Unfortunately, recently, one of their updates broke wayfinding. I mean, their wayfinding's been pretty broken for a while, but I mean really broken in entirely new and frustrating ways, shall we say. So you will find objective markers blinking around and appearing behind you and sending you in circles, and it's just...
Hacky
Friendship
thing!
door! You do that one, I'll do this one, let's go. There we go. That is the friendship door tutorial.
Ow.
Did the shockwave mower knock you on your ass? And if so, did you kill it in retaliation? Oh, there's some Oxium back here. There was an Oxium Osprey that I killed before it suicided. It dropped Oxium. That's a kind of uncommon crafting resource, so I figured I'd point that out. Good, good. Turning off alarms. Wise.
Little puzzle game.
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
So at this point, it's up to you what you want to do. You can continue killing and looting or whatever your way, or you can cross off the extraction.
There are things to hit.
One of the sneaky things that this game doesn't tell you, which is almost everything, is in an exterminate mission, if you complete the objective, a hidden timer has started to count down. If you go 15 minutes without killing anything else, you'll get a 30-second extract or you fail the mission warning.
Ah,
It's stupid.
does seem a bit...
Yes.
Well, I don't know, they want to close some instant session down.
No, because again, it's all on your local host, or rather, it's all on my PC. A lot of it comes from the fact that they don't want missions to be infinite farms without having to, I guess, do something in return. So the endless mission types, like the defenses, you can just keep going as long as you like until you die, or you choose to extract, whatever. But the enemies scale up. They get harder. It's not easy to just sit and farm. It gets more and more difficult. Whereas with exterminate missions, there aren't actually a fixed number of mobs in the mission. It will continue to spawn mobs in, which means you can sit and use it as a small farm until it stops spawning mobs in, which happens anytime between about 5 and 10 minutes in. And that's to force you to get out and go back in and do a new mission where there's actual real mobs and real objectives. Basically, there's no free lunch.
Works for me.
I mean, I doubt that's really going to be much of a problem in most of these missions. But later on, there are some very interesting planets and tile sets that have very interesting map layouts and hidden secrets and puzzles and things, and it can get kind of easy to become somewhat absorbed in it and then forget to kill something, and then all of a sudden you have a extract or kill something or lose mission warning, and then suddenly you're scrambling.
Oh, worth knowing, thank you. Alright, I think we are done.
Yep, keep coming.
There's probably some crates and shiz. Oh, I don't remember going down here. This is it.
I'll show you something secret that you might not be able to do anything with down here just yet. But maybe, oh gosh, now I've forgotten where it is.
I
That's
think
embarrassing. No, here we
there's
go.
a thing. No, it's not that.
Do you have any codec scanners? I don't think
it says
you do yet.
requires a scanner, apparently.
Okay, fair enough. So in this tile, that will always be there. So as you progress through the game, when you pick up some scanners and you next come across this tile, remember it's there and scan it.
Will do. Oh, these two are still here.
Well, as I said, it will continue to spawn a few more in, but even they will stop spawning, and then whatever's here is whatever's here.
This section's not done yet. There's a bunch of things here that you can... There's some loots, basically.
And the extraction tile. There's some zip wires if you want.
Badass. Little tunnels.
Yep. This is all the extraction tile. There's little lockers dotted about the place.
Ah! Ah! Right at the end, that's when I start dropping off platforms.
That's fine, that happens to the best of us. What's super fucking sneaky is if you go beyond, you go a bit too far the extraction, for some reason half of your movement controls get locked out, so you can't even like backflip midair and jump back or anything.
Oh wow.
It's, I don't get why. Because DE. There we go, because DE.
I've got an Ayatan Science Star.
Yep, keep hold of it. You'll be able to slot that into an Ayatan statue you might pick up. Ayatan statues don't have an obvious in-game marker like the stars do. They have the ordinary loot box marker, which I don't know if you have a loot radar. I don't recall if Thieves Suite gives you one. It might do. The little white boxes to show you destructible items. It'll come up as one of those.
Right. Cool.
Alright. Well, actually, did we get anything really good out of that? I don't think so.
Nothing jumped out as being particularly cool.
Nah.
Right, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up on this for this evening, but I will be back, I expect. Possibly with or without others. But there are a couple of things I want to do before bed, so that is where I'm headed. Thank you very much.
Operator?
No
Orders
problem.
wonders
It's great to speak to you again.
about